Hello, everyone. For decades, Hollywood taught audiences who to trust. Smiling faces, comforting voices, and carefully polished legends filled screens around the world. But when the lights went out and cameras stopped rolling, a very different truth emerged. Dick Van Dyke, one of the most beloved figures in entertainment history, quietly witnessed the moments no one else saw. Moments when charm collapsed and power revealed something darker. For more than 70 years, Dick Van Dyke represented something rare in Hollywood. He wasn't just famous, he was trusted. From The Dick Van Dyke Show to Mary Poppins, his warmth felt genuine in an industry built on illusion. That is why his private observations carry such weight. According to those around him, Van Dyke saw assistants fall silent, laughter disappear, and fear take its place. He believed some men weren't merely difficult, but deeply dangerous, protected by fame and enabled by a system that valued profit over humanity. One of the first names that reportedly disturbed Van Dyke was Jerry Lewis. On screen, Lewis was chaos and joy incarnate, a rubber-faced genius whose manic energy defined comedy for an entire generation. Audiences saw a man-child fueled by innocence and exuberance. But behind the scenes, witnesses describe a very different figure. A man obsessed with control, precision, and dominance. Every movement was planned, every mistake punished. Crew members recalled Lewis publicly humiliating staff for minor errors, often targeting those with the least power. Women, especially, described an atmosphere thick with belittling comments and disguised cruelty. Van Dyke, known for his professionalism and respect toward co-workers, was reportedly stunned by the contrast. One associate remembered him saying Lewis hated being questioned, a trait that made him volatile and frightening. The laughter, it seemed, was carefully engineered, the cruelty very real. What made Lewis especially unsettling was the contradiction. On camera, he cried while raising millions for the Muscular Dystrophy Association, presenting himself as a compassionate humanitarian. Off camera, witnesses say he ruled through fear. He made the world laugh while breaking people behind the scenes. The cruelty wasn't accidental, it often felt intentional, as if humiliation itself was the goal. Then there was Errol Flynn, the embodiment of swashbuckling heroism. In films like The Adventures of Robin Hood and Captain Blood, he radiated charm, danger, and athletic grace. Audiences adored him, but off-screen, Flynn's behavior was disturbing even by Hollywood's permissive standards. Multiple women accused him of sexual assault, including 2 statutory rape trials in 1943. Though acquitted, the accusations never stopped. Insiders described a pattern of predatory behavior hidden behind sophistication and charm. Van Dyke reportedly referred to Flynn as poison in a tuxedo, a phrase that captured how dangerous charm can be. His public image didn't restrain his darkness, it concealed it. Studios protected him because he was profitable. Silence was the price of stardom. Beyond the allegations, Flynn was investigated by the FBI for alleged fascist sympathies while portraying anti-Nazi heroes on screen. The contradiction was staggering. By the time he died, at just 50, the dashing hero had faded, but the damage he left behind remained. Hollywood had ignored the warnings for far too long. For millions of Americans, Bing Crosby was the sound of warmth itself. His voice on White Christmas defined family, nostalgia, and comfort. He seemed like the ideal father figure, relaxed, kind, dependable. But after his death, his sons revealed a very different reality, a childhood shaped by fear, beatings, and emotional cruelty. In memoirs written years later, Gary Crosby described being whipped with leather straps and metal-studded belts, often for minor offenses. Van Dyke, a devoted family man, was reportedly horrified. The hypocrisy was impossible to ignore. A man who sang about home and love allegedly turned his own house into a place of terror.
Evil, some observe, doesn't always shout. Sometimes it sings softly. The cruelty extended beyond the home. While Crosby cultivated an image of effortless professionalism, colleagues described him as cold and exacting, quick to dismiss those who disappointed him. His cruelty wasn't explosive. It was controlled, calculated, and hidden behind perfect manners. For Van Dyke, this quiet brutality was among the most disturbing betrayals of all. Another name whispered with unease was Wallace Beery, MGM's lovable brute. On screen, he specialized in rough men with hearts of gold in films like The Champ. Off-screen, he inspired fear. Massive and volatile, Beery allegedly intimidated co-workers and physically assaulted crew members. His reputation for violence followed him from set to set. The most disturbing rumors tied Wallace Beery to the 1937 beating of comedian Ted Healy, the creator of the Three Stooges, outside the Trocadero nightclub. Healy died just days later from his injuries. Though never proven in court, many Hollywood insiders believed studio fixers quietly buried the scandal to protect a valuable star. Dick Van Dyke reportedly remarked that Beery didn't need to act to play a thug. The menace came naturally. Then came Spencer Tracy, one of the most respected actors in cinema history. His performances in Inherit the Wind and Bad Day at Black Rock embodied moral authority and decency. Off-screen, however, alcoholism revealed a darker side. Witnesses described Tracy as charming when sober and terrifying when drunk. Multiple accounts describe how alcohol transformed Spencer Tracy into someone almost unrecognizable from the dignified figures he portrayed on screen. When sober, he could be thoughtful, intelligent, even gentle. But when drinking, witnesses recalled a frightening shift. His temper sharpened, his restraint vanished, and his behavior reportedly became violent, particularly toward women. Slapping, shoving, and verbal cruelty were often dismissed as unfortunate byproducts of genius rather than confronted as abuse. His long-term relationship with Katharine Hepburn, though celebrated as one of Hollywood's great romances, was marked by volatility that studios worked tirelessly to conceal. Dick Van Dyke reportedly saw these transformations firsthand and was deeply disturbed by how easily the industry looked away. What troubled Van Dyke most was not just Tracy's behavior, but the moral compromise surrounding it. Tracy's brilliance became a shield. His performances were so revered that they excused nearly everything that happened off-camera. The same man who embodied justice, compassion, and moral clarity in films like Inherit the Wind was protected while harming others in private. For Van Dyke, who believed decency should never be optional, this was unforgivable. Talent, in his view, was never a license for cruelty. Yet even Tracy's darkness was eclipsed by the reputation surrounding Kirk Douglas. Publicly, Douglas was celebrated as a man of courage and conviction. He helped break the Hollywood blacklist, supported artistic freedom, and portrayed morally complex heroes in films like Spartacus and Paths of Glory. He cultivated an image of strength used in service of justice. Privately, however, multiple women described a far more terrifying figure, a man who allegedly used his power to exploit and intimidate those with far less of it. The most chilling allegation involved Natalie Wood, who was reportedly sexually assaulted at just 16 during an audition at the Chateau Marmont. Though the perpetrator was never publicly named during her lifetime, many insiders later identified Douglas as the attacker. Van Dyke was reportedly blunt in his private assessment, saying, "You wouldn't want your daughter alone with him." It was a devastating statement from someone known for his restraint and integrity. Together, these men reveal a systemic failure. Hollywood didn't merely overlook abuse, it engineered silence. What makes Dick Van Dyke's perspective so powerful is that he proved another path existed. He achieved extraordinary success without cruelty, without fear, and without leaving victims behind, quietly exposing the lie that greatness requires harm. In the end, the greatest performances don't happen under studio lights. They happen when no one is watching. and no amount of Hollywood magic can disguise who someone truly is. If this story moved you, like, share, and subscribe for more untold truths.